What's up, everybody? Noah Kizarek here for another episode of Noah and Scottie Reviews, episode 13. We got a lot of crap to get through, so let's get right into it. We're going to start off with the Harry Potter rankings. We only are going to be covering the Harry Potter movies because, one, I haven't seen all the Fantastic Beasts, and I think that might be a little bit unfair if we tank them all the way down at the bottom. So that might not be the best idea. But we're going to try something new here. We're going to see if this works here. There we go. So here's my ranking of the Harry Potter films. Next week, I'm going to try to get a way to get your rankings on here. I'm going to have to try and figure that out. This was a treat. So here we go. At the final part here, for some reason, this did not want to save. Unfortunately, but that's okay. So we're just going to go right here, go all the way down, and we're just going to do a little bit of this. At the final film, we're going to do Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. I thought that was a decent little flick. It's definitely the slowest one. The more I thought about it after I watched it for the very first time, I saw that this film was a little bit slower. I did enjoy it, but the Half-Blood Prince sat with me a little bit longer to bump that up to my second least favorite. None of these are bad films overall, but I do enjoy all of them. Half-Blood Prince, I did not know that Snape was the Half-Blood Prince. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I did not know that. I didn't read the books. I didn't hear anybody say it. I heard nothing.
That's pretty surprising all these years.
All these years, I mean, with all the memes, no one said, I'm the Half-Blood Prince. Okay, cool. Maybe it was a line in Deathly Hallows Part 2 that I missed or something. I don't know. But next up is going to be The Order of the Phoenix. This is a very, very good film. The one thing I'm not really a fan of is I believe that this is the one where Ron has that girlfriend.
Yeah, I think so.
That girl just got on my freaking nerves. She got on my nerves, but Umbridge is what makes it the movie. Umbridge is what makes it. I hate to say it, but and I know that your wife hates her, but
she's not liked your ranking so far. She's wanted to scream so far at the ranking.
Well, hold on a minute, yeah. You're not gonna like it no more.
You don't know the in-depth stuff to everything though either, so that's probably why.
Then we got Deathly Hallows Part 2. Goblet of Fire is the one I watched for the very first time, and now rewatching them at some point here in a couple of years. So I'm not going to watch all 8 of these films anytime soon. But I enjoyed 4 more than other people did. I enjoy the darker aspect to it than the kiddie feel to 1 and 2, but 3 did get a bit darker. 4 got darker for me as we get more of the Lord Voldemort stuff going into 4 and 5. But of course, we have to stick with the original 3 for 1, 2, and 3. Number 3, they call it Philosopher's Stone. To us in America, it's Sorcerer's Stone. Chamber of Secrets, and then the Prisoner of Azkaban is number 1 for me. So what is going to be your rankings for these?
Are you going to say yours, Al?
Maybe you do yours first.
Oh, okay.
She says all of them suck.
So from not really going to say a whole lot, just say my worst to best. So for me, the worst is Goblet of Fire. And then Deathly Hallows Part 1. And then Order of the Phoenix. The Sorcerer's Stone. Chamber of Secrets. Prisoner of Azkaban. And then you got Deathly Hallows Part 2, and then Half-Blood Prince would be my number 1. I think Ashley liked my ranking a little better.
So, worst to best, I put Goblet of Fire as the bottom. It's just a lot of the game, and I don't like that. Then next would be Deathly Hallows Part 1 is boring as crap. And then you have probably the first one, which is Sorcerer's Stone. That one just because it is slow, but I still love all these movies, so don't bash me for this because I love all of them. But then probably Half-Blood Prince. Not really any complaints on that one. It's just sort of there. Order of the Phoenix. And by the way, Umbridge is the most hated character, and that will never change. And then,
yes.
And then Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban. It really just depends, but those can be tied for the top movies. But and Deathly Hallows Part 2 is just somewhere in there. I can't even put that in a thing because it depends on the day. But I can't, like, Deathly Hallows Part 2 and then the first two movies are, or the second and third movie are always tied, like the top three positions.
There you go.
There we go. There's all 8 Harry Potter films. We won't do the Fantastic Beasts films because, one, there's better stuff to watch. there's better stuff to watch. It's a short series, but you know what? We're not even gonna touch those. We're just gonna leave those at. We're gonna be like everybody with the Grinch. I don't want to touch you with a 95.5-foot pole in 94 or however the song goes. But next up is going to be our review for Romance with a Twist. Now, this film here, I had the pleasure of interviewing my friend who is the director of this film, and we're not going to let this say what we thought about this film just because each film is different. Just because I know this director doesn't mean I'm going to automatically love the film, as you can see by my score. But this has to do with aerialists. And aerialists is like silks and everything. So this is a film that is very, very good, I think. It's not the best Hallmark film of the entire year. By all means, no. But this is a really solid little flick that I did enjoy more than other people did. But Luna is a former dancer. And Bennett comes in, and let's just say that this film is not very memorable for me, just because it has been a couple of weeks. Whereas with the Paging Darcy film that I'm going to talk about in just a minute, that one really did. It really did make it a lot more enjoyable and memorable, but I enjoy the period piece more. The silks, I'm not as well versed in the aerialist and silks. I know it's a beloved sport. I know it's dangerous, and I'm never going to do it. There's no way. I don't have the arm strength. But I thought this was a solid little flick that had some decent chemistry. The story did suffer a little bit towards the latter half of the film, about midway through. But Olivier is fantastic in this film. Our lead guy is freaking phenomenal. He's great. And Jocelyn, not only is she gorgeous, but she gives everything to every single role. This is way better than her last film, or her film we got last year with her husband, Love and the Moldies, which I enjoyed a lot more than some people did, but a lot of people say that film is straight up garbage. I enjoyed it, but it's definitely not a strong little flick. But as you can see, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what we get from Max next. I know something he's doing soon, but I can't say yet. I don't know if it's coming out this year or not, but I did tell you, so that's going to be a little bit exciting. But what did you think about Romance with a Twist?
Well, honestly, I've not watched many of them this year, and I still found myself pretty much having almost forgot about this one if you hadn't have brought it up for us doing it. It's just a very forgettable film. Jocelyn made the movie for me. The guy was fine. They had some decent chemistry. Cinematography was good enough. Wasn't anything overly amazing about it until you get to the final performance where they're doing their actual performing. I thought that was a really nice scene.
Mm-hmm.
But there just wasn't anything special about this one. There wasn't anything to really set it apart. I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5. But yeah, definitely one that I'll completely forget about and probably never really want to watch again.
Pretty solid flick, but definitely it's better than the first couple of weeks because that was, yeah. We're gonna move on to a pretty solid little flick here called Orion and the Dark. This is a film that I was really interested in because everybody was very excited because of the studio. However, let's talk about this for just a minute. This is not going to be something that everybody is jumping up and down over and excited about for the best animated feature Oscar. Why? Well, just because looking at what we have here, we're gonna go down here, and you are gonna see everything I watched, but that's fine. Orion in the Dark is about a boy who is afraid of the dark, among many other things, until he becomes friends with a smiling creature named Dark, a giant creature named Dark. This is a pretty solid little flick, decent animation, nice story. They did add in some darker elements to it than I thought they would. The animation is very, very nice. It does slow down at parts, but I think you have a lot more to say than I do because I was enjoying this as just a nice little animated film for the family. This is much better than I think their last couple of films, like The Magician's Elephant. I enjoyed this more than Nimona, which I know that's a bit blasphemous, but I enjoyed this more than that film. But still a solid little flick here. 3.5 out of 5. Jacob Tremblay is fantastic here. It kind of has a vibe of like Rise of the Guardians. I've heard some other people say, and I'm going to agree with that because you do have these mythical creatures in it, and they all have their different powers and their personalities that I think works for each specific character. So I'm going to go with a 3.5 out of 5 for this one. What did you think about Orion in the Dark?
So for me, I seen where some people compared it to Inside Out, which I could definitely understand. For me, I think with this film, the animation was good, the story wasn't bad, but for me, my favorite character was the one that slept all the time.
Yeah.
I can't remember the character's name exactly, but I loved that character. I loved the methods that character was using to put people to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That was honestly my favorite part of the movie, and the only time I really laughed during the movie was when that character was on screen. For me, I think with the way they did with the kid and being afraid, I feel like they kind of overdid it a little bit. They had him afraid of basically life, as Dark says at one point in this, that he's afraid of life, and that's really pretty well spot on because he's afraid of pretty near everything, and some of it for me was kind of borderline like anxiety, not just being afraid, which they never really touched on. They never, done anything with that, but and for me, I didn't really understand the time travel aspect of this. I'm not going to say what happens with it, but there is some in it. I didn't really understand that part. I don't know if I blinked and missed something because I was watching it the whole time, and to me, it just didn't make sense. I didn't really care for it. Thought it was kind of unneeded for the story that we had going the entire time. But I still gave it a 3 out of 5. It was still a decent little film, but definitely nothing that stood out, nothing that I would watch again.
Well, you want to talk about a film that we'll never watch again? We have The Tiger's Apprentice. All right? Tiger's Apprentice. This is a film I was interested in because, one, it's animation. Animation can be very beautifully done. And this is a very short film at only 84 minutes long. After the death of his grandmother, Tom Lee discovers he is part of the long lineage of magical protectors known as the Guardians, with guidance from a mythical tiger named who, on the other Zodiac animal warriors, Tom trains to take on an evil force that threatens humanity. I was not a massive fan of this one. This film felt very just meh. I'm just gonna say this. It felt very meh. The animation was good. I see why this didn't go to theaters, because I don't think that this would have made almost any money. This is definitely a better film for like a streaming type of film, maybe a straight to DVD film. I thought that was something they could do a little bit more of with this one, but the story just didn't work for me overall. The voice acting specifically from our lead, our lead here, very well done, but the story is very, very weak, and it moves at a snail's pace at only 84 minutes. I mean, it moves at a snail's pace. I was bored for half of this film. I think a 2.5 is very generous for it, but I know you enjoyed this a little bit more than I did. What did you think about The Tiger's Apprentice?
So for me, this one was a very interesting film, but definitely nothing overly amazing. The animation style was good. The voice acting was really good. Got a couple little small laughs here and there throughout it, but for me, I know we both kind of see differently on this aspect. For me, this kind of just reminded me of like a standard superhero film where, you know, he doesn't know he has powers. He finally figures it out. His grandma tells him. Then bye-bye goes grandma, and he has to train and, you know, take down the villain. You know, we see that all the time with the introductory superhero films with all their characters, like, you know, Thor and all that kind of stuff. So for me, that kind of just fell on this level. It wasn't anything special. It I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5. That's pretty much what I give all the entry level superhero stuff. Is usually around the 2.5, 3 mark. So I did go with the 3 for this one as well. But it's nothing I would watch again just because of that fact of it just being meh, you know, little introductory film.
Now, you watched these two at work. Which one did your guy really, really enjoy more? Because he watches a lot of stuff with you at work.
Honestly, probably The Tiger's Apprentice. I guess probably because there was a little more action to it than what Orion in the Dark had.
Yeah. Now, these next few reviews, I'm going to fly right by these. I'm going to fly right by them because these next few are 2 Hallmark films as well as 4 screeners that I got, but we got some news topics, and we're going to be out of here to lickety-split. So here we go. We're going to go with Gilded Newport Mysteries, Murder at the Breakers. I have very little to say about this film. This film is a Hallmark mystery that I was very interested in because of the overall like period piece feel, which they're really going for with the Jane Austen month. The director's very nice, Terry Ingram, but this mystery was so boring, moves at a snail's pace. They were just so posh and snooty and overly British to some points. Some of the accents were a little bit annoying and off at some points, but this mystery, if I'm bored during your mystery film, you're doing something a little bit wrong here. I can't even tell you who the killer was. There was way too many characters in this, and our lead girl is not all that interesting. She's beautiful to look at. Nice job with the role, but our screenwriter here did not know how to write the characters well enough to make it interesting. With this being set in 1895, this should have been a lot better, but I'm going with a 2 out of 5, the worst Hallmark of the entire year. And I don't really want to say that. I don't want to say it, but it was. It was the worst Hallmark film of the entire year. And I don't think there's going to be one that's going to be worse than this one. But we do have Paging Mr. Darcy. Paging Mr. Darcy. Here we go. One that I was interested in because Mr. Darcy, we've had 2 other Mr. Darcy films with Unleashing and Marrying. We're not going to talk about those, but a love of Jane Austen's stories help two people to overcome their pride and admit to their belief in love. Mallory Jansen and Will Kemp do a phenomenal job here. This is miles better than his last film, A Not So Royal Christmas. This is what he should be doing. Playing a very snooty, uptight, royal type role, or playing a Mr. Darcy rich type. That's what he should be doing. Whereas he is in, I forgot the name of the movie, A Merry Scottish Christmas. He is in that with Lacey as a cameo. They do add in, of course, he is Will Kemp, so in every single film, there has to be a reference or saying he can actually dance. So, do we get some dancing? Of course we do, because he's good at it. And he's very good at it. I do enjoy this film overall. The costume design is very gorgeous. The cinematography is great. The story does move a little bit slower because it is a period piece, but not as slow as the mystery. And the story was more intriguing because we have good chemistry. However, adding in the different type of stories that Jane Austen did and talking about those, I thought was a little bit more off-putting for someone who's not a fan of her work, as I haven't read any of her work. I haven't read any of it. So I don't know how closely this compares to a Darcy story. I don't know. But overall, I enjoyed this one. A very solid little flick, but not one that I'm going to recommend if you're not a fan of period pieces. Now we go into Air Force One Down. Air Force One Down is a brand new film that I got a screener link for. Brand new action film coming from Paramount. On her first assignment aboard Air Force One, a rookie Secret Service agent faces the ultimate test when terrorists hijack the plane, intent on derailing a pivotal energy deal. And with the president's life on the line, a global crisis at stake, her bravery and skills are pushed to the limit in a relentless battle that could change the course of history. This movie is poorly shot, very poorly written. You can't see the action half the time. The CGI for the gunshots is very lackluster and so poorly done. Anthony Michael Hall is wasted in this film, and they try to do something that they do in like a film like The Hunt, where he is your biggest star. And in that film, they kill off the biggest actors first. I probably gave away what happens to his character, but he's not in this film long. He's not in this film long. At only 84 minutes, it is a slower action film that is poorly shot. And for an action film, if I can't see your action, I can't enjoy your action. And if the CGI gunfire is so poorly done, then I lose interest in your film very, very quick. The acting by our president is very well done. They do have a nice lead actress here in Catherine, but this is a big misfire for an action film and one of the worst films of the entire year. 1.5 stars for Air Force One. A film I was deeply, deeply scared of going into is Stranger in the Woods. Stranger in the Woods could have gone one of two ways. How many low-budget horror films did we see last year, Scotty?
Too many, probably.
Yeah. Yep. Well, this isn't The Jester. It's better. But then again, is it? Because The Jester is a different type of horror film. Stranger in the Woods, I also got a screener link for, and this is starring and co-written by Holly Kenny. A grieving woman is taken by friends for a holiday at a remote cabin after they suspect she tried to end her own life. And they see a stranger in the woods who they are afraid are going to come after them. That's the gist of it. The first half of this film, it moves very slow, and the story is moving so slow, you forget what the film is even about. We do get a stranger, but they try to turn the tables a little bit. And what they do at the very tail end of this film, they do like a Scream reveal, in a way. It's not really like a mass face killer. It's like, we're going to turn on you. That's what happens here. And I enjoyed that because the acting in this low budget film was very, very solid. I enjoyed Holly. And I enjoyed our other lead. I believe his name is Ben, right? That's the actor's name, Ben? Brendan. Brendan. Sorry, Brendan. The screen is small. I couldn't see it.
I can't see it either, so I couldn't help you out on that one.
Well, it's okay. But Brendan was very, very solid. I enjoyed this as a low-budget horror film, but not one that I'm going to recommend to you if you're a fan of bigger budget, like scary films. This is more of a thriller, and it goes more of a Lifetime route within the last act of this film. So Ashley may enjoy this more than you and I would. But if you know how the Lifetime films go with the boyfriend and the deranged people, this one sort of goes that route without giving any spoilers away, but a nice job by our two lead actors in the very tail end. Not all that suspenseful or gory or bloody or scary, but still a nice little thriller that I was going to give a 3 out of 5. Next up is Popular Theory. Popular Theory is one that I had the most interest in out of everything because this one is sort of like a family film in a way. Erwin, a genius girl, is the youngest student in high school. Unfortunately, she struggles with social isolation. When she meets fellow science guru Winston, they team up to invent a chemical that changes the high school hierarchy forever. They do, and how they do that is they give the most unpopular kids who have no friends the hot people, and the popular people are not even going to speak to them. Why does that remind me of high school? But all the kids in high school are either hot or popular or both. The people who are not, they create a gum. And it's the scent of this gum that basically makes everybody like them now and do anything they want. So it's kind of them learning a lesson in a way. Don't change how high school is, and the people who take the gum learn a lesson as well. This is how you're supposed to be. Learn who you're supposed to be with. Stick in your group. Don't try and go outside of that group unless you have friends in that group. Don't have friends who are only going to use you for things. Like there's this one scene where a character is at a dress shop. I don't know how she has all this money, how the teenagers have all this money because they're teenagers and they have credit cards. Okay, cool.
They're rich parents.
That's the only answer. She says, I don't know which dress to get, this one or this one. Well, don't worry, because we'll buy them for you. Okay. So this flick was a nice little change from what I was watching. From a horror film to an action film to a nice little family comedy. There are some comedic beats here and there. The chemistry between our two kids is phenomenal. Our two people who take the gum, our main two people who take the gum, can be a little bit over the top, but I think they're supposed to be. They're nerdy, geeky people. So they're supposed to be a bit more over the top. I did enjoy their chemistry towards the end of the film because you know what's going to happen with this character. But I think that this could have been a nice little film to put on the Disney Channel because this felt like a Disney Channel flick. I'm not going to lie. It felt like a Disney Channel film.
Looks like a Disney Channel poster.
Yeah. But this is a decent little flick that comes out. I believe it came out this past Friday in theaters. It might be coming to VOD very, very soon, but check out for it. And my last film I'm going to be reviewing is The Stolen Valley. The Stolen Valley is a Western. This is a Western that I was sent to review. And as a fan of some Westerns, this film really didn't make me love it. But why it gets the highest grade out of all of them is because of the cinematography and the acting overall. The story is not all that intriguing, but what they do with this story and making this sort of like a female-led Western film that we don't get a whole lot of. I enjoyed that because the dynamic between these two is phenomenal. The dialogue between these two is great. It's just the overall story I wasn't all that intrigued with a corrupt landowner How many Hallmark films do we see where there's a corrupt landowner? Or I own this lighthouse and you can't have it. Meh. We get that once every couple months. So this is not a new story, but the cinematography in this Western and using a lot of natural lighting is phenomenal. The way they use the sun is freaking phenomenal for such the low budget they had. This is not a $20-30 million film. This has to be at least in the few millions. But what they do here is so good with the camera and the script and the dynamic between our two actors. I enjoyed this flick to give it a 3.5 out of 5. So there is all of the reviews. But we're not done yet. We only got a few more things to talk about. And this is one of them. I got some things to say. We covered this earlier. It's officially been shelved. Coyote versus Acme. Okay. So let's just talk about this for just a minute. First, they were going to shop around to different studios. Okay, fine. Cool. That's all fine and dandy. What we didn't know at the time was why has it been canceled? One, because they thought that it would be a nice tax write-off. But then people were pissed because they were going to try and shop it around to different studios. That didn't work. So Warner Brothers decided to shelve it and completely delete it as a tax write-off. Warner Brothers wanted $75 to $80 million price tag for what they made it for. That was not going to be the marketing budget or nothing. This is what they made the film for. It was rejected by Netflix, Paramount Plus, and Amazon as the counter offers. And, they rejected their counter offers because they didn't want to lose money on the film. What makes this really crappy is that the 4 executives behind the film, Zaslav, DeLuca, Abdi, and Domshitsky.
No idea.
Damashki had not even seen the finished film. At least with this. At least with Batgirl, right? They saw the film, I think. I think they saw the film.
Might have.
They said it was awful. The issue with this is this was supposed to reintroduce the Looney Tunes to people. If you're a fan of Looney Tunes, like I'm a fan of Looney Tunes. I enjoy Space Jam. I enjoyed the Back in Action film. I enjoy the original cartoons. This was supposed to reintroduce them to them. However, the story was going to be more about like a courtroom case. It was going to be more for the adult fans while having the Looney Tune action to get the kids sucked in because, hey, Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes, they were probably going to be in it at some point. But this film is now Batgirl. It's being deleted for a tax write-off, and no one's going to see this film. Do I think this is right? Not really.
I mean, when you can't get nobody else to buy it from you, that says a lot. I mean,
but here's
my
the
opinion.
But here's the thing, though. If you're going to put out something like A Christmas Story Christmas on to HBO Max, I just stick this on HBO Max and say, here's an extra. Or at least shove this in theaters to make a little bit of money, because that is at least what Disney is trying to do to make good with the Pixar people, with Soul and Turning Red and Luca, to maybe say, hey, I'm sorry the old CEO was so rude to you guys and not appreciating your work. Please forgive us just a little bit. And he's doing that a little bit. However, this makes me more angry because I wanted to see this film. Cena's in the film. I am a John Cena fan. I love the Looney Tunes. I wanted to see this film for my own personal gain as a John Cena fan to support his work, but also to have the people's work be seen. What we're not going to talk about here is what Sony is doing. What Sony is doing, Sony has their very, very well-known little film here coming out called Madam Web.
Oh boy.
Yeah? You're just as excited as I am about it. And it has our girl in it. We love Sydney Sweeney. We love Sydney. What the hell is this?
That's a bad movie
What's
right there. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's a piss poor movie right there. That's what that is.
I don't think I can comprehend that number. What's that number, Scotty?
Big old 16%.
Okay.
That dropped from earlier when I saw it.
Woo! Hey! Success. However, I want to point this out, okay? This was written by the guys who did Morbius. It's written by the people who did Morbius. Okay,
Yeah,
so. And then, look at these positive reviews. I've seen other people cover this, but I want to talk about this on the show. Within 5 minutes of Madam Web, I heard in my head, it's Morbin time. The film spans a really good time by entertainingly terrible or what some might call camp. Frankly, after seeing it, I am ready and excited to see Craven. This one says, oh, this just sounds so nice to say it's not a good movie. Madam Web is an unmitigated disaster. Is not the unmitigated disaster that his clunky trailer or its calendar spot in February would suggest. Well, that sounds nice, don't it? It's not the unmitigated disaster that the trailer looks like, but even the good reviews, most of the good reviews aren't all that good. Madam Web does its best not to be another Catwoman. Ouch. Okay.
I mean, I'm not surprised. That trailer just looked terrible.
That thing looks bland. It looks bland. And as a Sydney Sweeney fan and a fan of Dakota Johnson, I like her in the 50 Shades films. I like her in other stuff. What happened here? Well, I will say this, all right? With Sydney Sweeney, at least she's having a lot of success with Anyone But You. That film blew up out of freaking nowhere. That thing came out of nowhere. No one cared about that film when it was coming out besides you and me. Nobody.
Yeah.
I went to finally go and see it because my theater got it in, and I was the only one in the freaking theater.
I think what sucks too is she really loved this character. She put a lot of heart into the character, and she let them do certain things that she knew the character did in the comics and stuff. And for it to just be a complete disaster as it looks like it's going to be, it really sucks. And, you know, not that I'm not some big, huge superhero fan like I used to be, but, you know, just to think somebody put all their heart into the character that they wanted to play and loved, and you're going to get a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Who knows where it'll end by the time we're done, but it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes when you got a bad script, I guess.
Well, I'm still gonna go and see it, because when somebody says it's not the complete disaster that the trailer looks like it would be, okay, I have to see how bad this truly is. For you to be that nice in a somewhat positive review, I'm curious. All right, that's like someone like me saying, "Man, you gotta watch the Saltburn because it's that crazy." However, this one, it's me being curious about how awful it can be, and I'm excited. And you know that I'm going to text you right when I get out of the movie and be like, "Man." Or I might even be in the theater all by myself. I don't know.
Yeah, you might be by yourself for sure.
But if I'm by myself, I will text you and I'll be like, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be. Because I'm the one who liked the Marvels. I like the Marvels more than other people. It hit me in a different way.
Yeah.
But 16%. I didn't love Morbius. I didn't hate it either. But that's not saying much. What's going to make a little bit more money is going to be the Disney sequels that were announced. We're going to do it a different way. Because what I have here is this right here. They announce... Well, where'd you go? Hello? Here we go. Zootopia 2, Moana 2, The Mandalorian movie, and more. So what we have here is the future of Disney movies here. So we have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I'm planning on seeing, but we also have Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 is one I know that you're more intrigued about than I am.
Mm-hmm.
You really enjoyed that film more than I did. However, I didn't go to theaters, and I just saw it for the first time a couple years ago. What we have here that everybody is talking about is its Marvel Jesus, Deadpool 3.
Yep.
Deadpool 3. I was watching the Super Bowl, and I saw that red mask come up, and I said, it's up. It's coming up. I got around my phone and I watched that thing, and my jaw was dropping. I was laughing. I was waiting for the Wolverine to come up. We get a little bit of him. But oh boy, am I excited for this film. This is going to be phenomenal. This is going to be great. I guarantee you. If it's not, if you bought Deadpool 3, you could call me a bit of a Marvel shill if you wanted to. But if Marvel screws up Deadpool 3, I'm going to be a wee bit pissed, to put it the nice way. I'm just going to be a wee bit pissed. But next up, we have Alien Romulus, which we did not get a trailer for. I don't know why we didn't get a trailer for it. But it was rumored that it was going to get a trailer. It didn't get one. I know you were a little bit angry it didn't get one because you're an Alien fan.
Mm-hmm.
And before that film does come out, hopefully if my theater freaking plays it, I will see it in theaters because I saw the last one, Alien Covenant, I believe was the name of it, Covenant.
Yeah.
But then we go to the sequels. Moana 2. Why are we getting Moana 2? Well, we weren't supposed to get a Moana 2. Moana 2 was actually it was supposed to be a Disney Plus series. And I think they saw the series going the way it was going, and they went, this would work more as a film. So I think they're going to cut out some of the episodic side stories from it and just mash it all into one film. That kind of scares me, to be honest. Because if you're supposed to do a series, if you're building this thing as a series, but you cut it down to like an hour 40-something minute movie, that scares me. And since we're already getting Moana next year, a live-action remake with The Rock, I mean, he's getting ready to go and film that after he's done with WrestleMania. So, do we need it? No. I think a series would have been fine. I seriously think a series would have been fine. What I think is stupid is this. Mufasa, the Lion King. The Lion King was one of the most soulless, nothing movies Disney has ever made. My emotion here is exactly what you get in the movie, if not less. But then we have Captain America, Brave New World. We have Fantastic Four. We do have Pedro Pascal. We just need the rest of the cast now. Thunderbolts, Blade. We don't know if that's actually happening with all the crap going on with that. But this is the main story right here. Moana 2 and all of those sequels. Zootopia 2. As someone who has not seen Zootopia, and they did the Disney Plus series, but I don't know. It made $1 billion, and that's why they're doing it. But do you think the world is clamoring for more Zootopia?
No, not at all.
But what I can say is I get why they're going to do a Toy Story 5 and a Frozen 3. The past 2 Frozen films made over $1 billion. I think Toy Story 3 made $1 billion. I could be wrong, but I know that Toy Story 4 did. But Frozen 3 is the one I'm most interested in because I am a fan of the first 2 Frozen films. But this is the granddaddy for me. Mandalorian and Grogu. I am a Star Wars fan. I love me my Grogu. I love that little green guy. I'm unapologetic. But why are we getting all these sequels? Well, one, the original stuff has not done well. Strange World didn't do well. Wish did not do well. So the original stuff isn't working. What was working is these sequels. So they're going to be focusing on sequels and the live-action remakes. What is interesting here is there is no date for Snow White. That's one thing nobody's talking about. Where'd the date for Snow White go? Well, they might just shelve it, maybe. Because if it's not even on a release schedule for 2025 with no date.
I mean, heck, they even got Blade on there.
Yeah,
you get Blade and no Snow White.
Now, leaving out the Rachel stuff, the Rachel Zegler stuff, right? You would think they'd at least stick it on there. You would think that would be a part of their slate.
I guess shelving is becoming the new thing. They don't care no more. They're just going to shelve it.
If they shelve it, I think it might be a mistake. At least do what you did with Peter Pan and Wendy and Pinocchio and Lady and the Tramp and stick it on Disney Plus. Maybe like a limited theatrical release, maybe. But besides that, I really don't think there's anything else they could do. But Frozen 3 is the one I'm most intrigued by. I love Olaf. I love the songs. But we'll see. And I shared a little bit of news and a rumor, but I'm not going to bring that up here because that would just enrage me. But as I don't have a whole lot to say about, but I did want to bring this up. The Oscars have added a Best Casting category. Okay, so this is going to probably be like a cast altogether. So if they don't give a nomination to like a Willem Dafoe for Poor Things, right? Say in 2026, since they took him out and left Leo out for The Killers of the Flower Moon, they can nominate the whole entire cast. If they thought that this had the best cast, that did the best job as an ensemble, then that's who's going to win. Otherwise than that, a lot of people are saying, why can't you do stunts? Well, stunts are very subjective. I mean, you'd have to have a stunt wing of the Academy. I think it would be a little bit hard to do a stunt wing because how do you do stunts unless there's no Tom Cruise movie? Because to me, it's going to go to Tom Cruise every time. Hanging off the side of a plane and flying a plane and going off a cliff on a motorcycle. I'm sorry, I'd pee my pants. But Jim Carrey returning for Sonic 3. Jim Carrey returning for Sonic 3 is one of the more intriguing things here. Do you think that this means he's back?
I don't think he's fully back. I think he'll still say he's retired, but I mean, you can't really do a Sonic 3 if you're going to have Robotnik without Jim Carrey.
Mhm.
I mean, he's the one that created, that is that character for people. So, I mean, I say they probably just came to him and was like, hey, we want to do a Sonic 3. We need you. And he said, sure, I'll come back for that. But I don't think he'll fully be back for everything.
I remember he said, well, if there's a good enough script and if there's a good enough idea and I want to do it, I think I'll come back for it. So I think if they wanted to do a Dumb and Dumber 3 with him and Jeff Daniels, I think he'd do it. If the script was good enough. Jesus. If the script was good enough, I think he'd do it. If they wanted to do a Mask 2. He isn't going to do a Mr. Popper's Penguins sequel. He's not going to do a Grinch 2. So I think the only ones that he would come back for is a Sonic film, is a Dumb and Dumber film, maybe a Mask film, or maybe an original film. But I don't know what this means for his career. He says, I have enough, I've done enough. I'm done, I'm retired. He's back for Sonic 3, but I don't know for how much, because I did see one article that did say that it could hurt a little bit because it could take away from the main villain. So apparently he's not the main villain in this. He's probably going to be a side villain helping out the villain. I don't know. I don't know the Sonic lore, so
I have no idea either. I don't know who all the villains are, so
I can name Shadow, Sonic, Knuckles, and Robotnik. That's it. Because I didn't play the games as a kid. So 2 more, and then we will end the show here. We have Super Bowl trailers. This was a bit of a up in the air thing because we didn't know what kind of trailers we were going to get. We didn't know what trailers were even going to be up. We legit did not know. We did not know. So let's just do this. We're going to go through them. And we are going to go with A Quiet Place Day 1. They did release a newer trailer for it. And, please stop moving. Thank you. Quiet Place Day 1. Having only seen the first Quiet Place and them going back to the very, very first day of it, and now the whole virus or alien type of thing comes down to Earth, I think that's going to be very intriguing, especially with our lead cast having Lupita Nyong'o in it. I'm very intrigued with that one. This one, I'm scared of this one. Despicable Me 4. Yeah. Despicable Me 4, I know you're done with these films.
I've been done after the first one. They're just not for me.
Now, the good thing is I don't think that your kids are very intrigued with the Minions anymore.
No, they could care about them.
Yeah. So I will go and see it because I've seen all the rest of them. And I did really enjoy 3. I just hope it's better than Minions: The Rise of Gru. But for me, that's not going to be hard to do. But most of them have hit $1 billion. So the Minions film did. I think Despicable Me 3 did. And I think the sequel to Minions did as well. This is the one you're most intrigued with besides Deadpool, I think, right? Is Twisters?
Yeah. Twisters, yeah. That just looks like a very fun sequel. Be interesting to see how they connect it to the first one.
I'm going to shock Ashley, but I've never seen Twister. I know how much she loves that movie.
I think I about died.
And she might have just said, okay, we're done with the show. I quit. No.
Well, I will say this one looks like it's going to have more action stuff going on just from the trailer. Because the first one, it has good action in it, but this one looks like it's going to be a little more to it, a little more excitement to it. So, look forward a lot to that one.
I think that this is supposed to be like two Twisters, and they're trying to stop him or something. I think is what I got from the teaser. In a second trailer, which we didn't get from Adam Webb. Sorry. For Twisters, I am looking forward to this one mainly because it just looks fun, and I love Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell in anything is freaking phenomenal. From Top Gun to Anyone But You, this dude is on a roll. Shogun, I didn't see this one, but I am going to be watching it to give it a shot. I know a lot of people are very intrigued with this show, and there's a lot of high hopes. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I know you have no interest in this whatsoever.
No, don't even. I've not watched the last two of them, so
I'm in the same boat. I remember seeing Rise of the Planet of the Apes in theaters, and I never got to Dawn or War, and I've never seen any of the other ones. So,
yeah.
and no, we're not going to rank them because that'd just be too goddamn much. But I will maybe go and see this if I get around to watching Rise, Dawn, and War. But I'm looking forward to this. But this is the big boy. Deadpool. There's Disney jokes in there. They make sure you know that this is going to be the Deadpool you know and love with swearing, blood, gore, everything, and just super fun. What I'm scared of is it's going to be maybe a little bit of like a cameo fest, but then again, it's Deadpool, so they're trying to fix the MCU a little bit. Is basically what they're going for here. But this is the one I'm most intrigued with. This wasn't really a trailer, though. This was a teaser. This was a 1-minute teaser. They gave you a little bit of music. They gave you a little bit of a look at our stars here. Wicked, I'm interested in, but I need to see another trailer to fully be sold. Give me a bit of the music. Give me a bit more of the acting of it and the chemistry between our two stars here. But I gotta say that Cynthia Erivo looks fantastic, and Ariana can do anything, and I will support it. I mean, I've loved her since Victorious. I'm interested in this one. If with Ryan Reynolds, I did enjoy this really good spot. A callback to The Office that was very funny. The Fall Guy. I remember seeing this trailer, and I think this film looks very, very fun. But this is one that I didn't think we were going to get a trailer for because I don't see this being a massive hit at the box office, and that's Monkey Man. I think the movie looks fun, but I wasn't expecting a big Super Bowl trailer for it. I would have put a lot more money down on Alien.
That's the thing. They gave us at least 3 trailers that we've already seen, when they could have gave us trailers for something different, something we've not seen yet, like Alien or whatever else that's coming. It's like they just kind of got lazy and just like, well, here's your 3 trailers 3 or 4 trailers you've already seen, but we're going to show them again to you during the Super Bowl. Like, It's not going to change my opinion just because it's aired during the Super Bowl.
But then again, we've got that before, and if you're going to do any marketing at all, I think that Madam Web should have done a little bit of marketing there because, hey, Madam Web, everybody, it's coming out this weekend. Go see it. Put it fresh in people's minds. Alien, it's starting to make more sense because it doesn't come out until August.
Yeah.
But then again, Deadpool doesn't come out until July, but it's Marvel. June is the Quiet Place film, so I don't know. Monkey Man is the one that I was just surprised by. I'm like, we're getting a trailer for Monkey Man? Okay, cool. But I gotta say, for the Super Bowl trailers, I think this was a weaker year than past years. Because we got the same trailers, but I think it's just them saying, hey, we want you to know that the movie's coming out. The big ones was for like Deadpool and If and Wicked. Those were pretty much the major ones. But all I gotta say is I gotta talk about it because I am a football fan. My team was not in it. Probably won't be next year either. So It's fine. The game was freaking there. It was there for like the first 3 quarters. I've heard some people say that the 49ers gave the game away to the Chiefs. They might have, but that last quarter and a half was phenomenal. And yes, I am including overtime. Once we got to the last half of the fourth quarter, where all the action started to happen, that's when the game got exciting. Because we were tied at 19-19. They went down, they got a field goal, and Patrick Mahomes does his Patrick Mahomes stuff and throws the ball with a few seconds left and touchdown. Yay! And they show Blake Lively and Taylor Swift up there jumping up and down, and I'm like, hey, woo! But here's the thing, okay? I want to bring this up. I showed this to you earlier, and this is very intriguing to me because I know you see a lot of stuff about the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and why are they showing her on the NFL games. Well, do you know how long the woman in question was on screen for?
Less than a freaking minute.
She does.
54 seconds within the 4-hour game. And I was laughing because people were like, Taylor Swift is going to get proposed to. Travis Kelce's going to propose. I'm like, no, he's not.
No, she's not. I knew she wasn't going to. That'd be awesome, but no.
I had to bring it up because she just got out of a relationship with Joe for 5 to 6 years. She's not going to marry Travis Kelce yet. Give him time to retire first. I mean, he's playing football. She has a new album out soon.
I say it'll be before he retires, but
I don't know when that man's going to retire.
Well, if he's going to retire, I don't know if they're going to do a three-peat, but they say they want to do a three-peat. If the Chiefs win again next year, I'm going to be very surprised with how poor they played the past couple of games. Eesh.
Well, I kind of knew the Chiefs were going to win because the 49ers were really falling apart at the end of the season. They were losing a lot of their games towards the end of the season. From what I was seeing, I didn't really watch the season, but I always saw the scores and stuff going across. So, they definitely started to struggle, and the Chiefs started to actually do better. But they're pretty much becoming the Patriots.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what they're becoming. It's a Patriots 2.0 team. It's going to get to the point where people get tired of seeing them. Well, if Taylor Swift stays around, they may not get tired of seeing them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But it may get to the point where people just get tired of seeing them in the Super Bowl and want new teams. I mean, it was nice when we had the Bengals versus the Rams.
Yep.
Because at least it was different. It was two different teams. Depending on where players go, how teams play, it wouldn't surprise me if the Chiefs do a three-peat. I mean, the 49ers are now, I think, 0-2 against them in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I can't bet on the 49ers taking them down next year if it's a round 3. But not that I'm going to watch it. As of right now, I don't really plan on watching much football because my issues with the sport now. But we'll see. I know I'll see all about it through the news articles and stuff. That's a given. So I'll keep up with it one way or another.
I will say this. I will take the Chiefs over the Ravens any day because they're our enemies. They are our rival. So
poor Ravens, they're becoming the Indianapolis Colts, I think.
Yeah.
They can get to the playoffs and get right there to the championship, but can't the AFC championship, but can't get past it.
Or you could be the Dallas Cowboys and not win a playoff game at all. Oh,
far around for the poor Dallas Cowboys.
Or could it be the Detroit Lions? The Detroit Lions got close, but they threw the game away. I was cheering for them. I wanted to see I wanted to see the Lions in the Super Bowl maybe win because the fans are passionate and everything. But hey, the last thing we're going to talk about is what's coming out next week. Well, here's the thing. We're in a bit of a dry spell. We aren't in Dune yet, so we aren't in our Dune settings yet. So let's get into this. We will have a couple of reviews next time, and one will be for Float.
Mhm.
We will have a review for Float, as well as Departing Seniors and a brand new romance film with Lucy Hale and Nat Wolff called Which Brings Me to You. I know that you plan on watching Float and Departing Seniors. I don't know about Which Brings Me to You, but
Well, so you just have to tell me when you're going to watch it, and then I'll have to see if I'm in the mood for it.
I did watch Upgraded. I didn't have a whole lot to say about it, but I did watch it. Decent little flick.
I know I plan on Lisa Frankenstein, hopefully. If not, I'll wait till it comes to Blu-ray and just blind buy it.
Well, let's just say this: the box office was not pretty, and I tried to see what my theater was doing with it. The one in the town next to me didn't have a lot of seats, so I mean, but what I will say is it's not going to be very filled this week either. It's not going to be filled at my theater because we got Madam Web. We got Madam Web. We also have Bob Marley One Love that comes out tomorrow. But what I will be watching tomorrow is the new rom-com on Netflix called Players. It's a rom-com. It's Valentine's Day. It's new. I'm going to give the thing a shot because why not?
I'll watch that this weekend probably.
This Is Me. Now the film. This is like a musical concert by Jennifer Lopez I'm very interested in. But this is the one this weekend I think we're most interested in out of everything. Is No Way Up. So the next time that we do the show, we will have a review for No Way Up. It involves sharks. That's the reason I want to see it.
That's the reason Ashley wants to see it.
What?
Yep.
There's No Way Up. The one where they're stuck on the plane that crashes into the ocean and they
Oh,
with the
yeah.
sharks.
Sharks is the only reason I want to see that damn movie.
The Color
Sharks.
Purple. The Color Purple comes out on Max, so that's very exciting. Oppenheimer is going to be on Peacock. I have the Blu-ray for that, so I'm pretty good. Go to this next page here, and I can give you a better look at what's actually coming out. We do have the brand new Hallmark film that I am so very excited for. It's called An American in Austin. I have seen one review for it on Instagram for it because they did release it on Hallmark Movies Now. They said it was charming, but you might want to watch the Pride and Prejudice film first to get some of the references. I said, okay. Not that I'm going to have time or have interest in watching the Pride and Prejudice film before the Hallmark film to get the references, but you know, that's fine and dandy. This one here, if it will pop up, there's Bob Marley and Madam Web, but next week my theater is getting Ordinary Angels, so I am looking forward to seeing that. But streaming wise, there is some stuff coming out. There's some stuff coming out here. The Iron Claw did come out to buy today on Amazon Prime and on Vudu. I did buy it for $20. Freaking phenomenal film. Like I already said, there's Players this weekend. We have Next Goal Wins coming out on Hulu. Color Purple coming out on Max. This is one that I will be renting. It's Brother's Girl. The reviews have not been great for it, but it's Jen Ortega, and I believe it's Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman. I almost called him Martin Sheen. Oh,
That's it.
almost
Yeah.
wrong. And for all of you fans of horror, Netflix is going to be getting Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is coming to Netflix on the 17th. This is going to be a big day for rentals. Mean Girls comes to Vudu and Amazon Prime to rent and buy on the 20th, along with Memory and The Zone of Interest. Zone of Interest is up for the Best Picture Oscar, and I'm going to have to see if I'm in the mood to watch it. I know it's a very depressing film. It's a shorter film, though, so I'm looking forward to that. Mean Girls, I'm going to have to see. But this is one that everybody has been talking about, and that's All of Us Strangers. This comes out on Hulu. This is I believe this is a gay romance film that everybody has been talking about that was dubbed for Best Picture and Actor. And then rounding this out, we have May Culpa. It's the new Tyler Perry film on Netflix. HBO Max is going to be getting Priscilla. The Promised Land is coming to Hulu, I think, or paid VOD, somewhere around there. Red Right Hand. This is a film that is coming to paid VOD. The past couple of Orlando Bloom's films have not been all that great. That I've seen, anyways. Oh, come on.
I forgot he was selecting.
And this is the big boy. The 27th. Poor Things comes out on VOD. So there is and one more. Code 8 Part 2 on Netflix. That was a low budget film that everybody really enjoyed on Netflix, but this one is said to be looking a lot better. So there's that, and that's everything for this show. There you go, everybody. We did our Harry Potter rankings. I don't know what the ranking is going to be next, but we will figure that out down the line. But there's everything. A bit of a shorter show. We covered some news topics. We tried some new stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed that because I wanted to try and improve the show. And doing the screen sharing thing really did improve the show. I think a little bit to actually show you what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And so you can see it now too. Because before it was just on my phone. And I was going through the Oscar nominations and I'm like, oh, cool. So here's the people. Oh, and I almost forgot. Monday, February 18th, or Monday, February 19th on Hallmark Channel is the premiere of A Taste of Love with Erin Cahill. And yeah. And Joey Cobb and Martin Cobb. I believe that's how you say their name. We'll see how that is. I've seen no marketing for it.
Yeah, they bought it, so you probably won't see no marketing for it.
They bought it. No marketing means low ratings because it's airing on a Monday. But that's fine. But there's that, and we will see all of you guys next time. So let us know where we can find you on YouTube and what is the next series that you would like to rank? Because I know you got a few of them.
Jurassic Park.
You should have went with The Conjuring.
Nope, Jurassic Park.
Okay then. Then I guess you're in Jurassic Park. Okay then. I wasn't sure if you were gonna go with John Wick or the Underworlds or the Resident Evils because I know you're working your way through those ones now. But
yeah, I got the John Wicks ready, but I guess this one wants to do Jurassic Park.
We're doing Jurassic Park and then probably The Conjuring after that.
Uh-oh. She says Conjuring's after Jurassic Park.
Okay then.
Okay.
Okay. So if you see my house flying across, that's a good no. But I will say this: Jurassic Park is going to be easy because I have them all. And the Conjurings, they're all on HBO Max, I think.
Most of them, I think. Yeah.
But we will see. The rankings are going to be slower because this took a while to get through, and I was having some burnout after watching all 8 of the Harry Potter films in 3 days. That took quite a bit of time. I don't want to do that again.
Ashley does it every week. What are you talking about? Watch
What?
the Harry Potter films.
Hey,
all the
it
time.
has been several weeks since I put that on. And since I've actually paid attention to it, like without Dawson watching it, it's been months.
Oh, does that mean you're overdue for a marathon, honey?
Yes, it is coming up, so you know.
So we will see you guys next week with another ranking of Harry Potter. No, the updated ones, and we will tell you our favorite characters as well. Even though I know Ashley's, so.
Oh, you should know both of mine, but we all know that I hate Umbridge, and she can go in a hole.
Yeah, we know your favorite is of course Sirius Black. So.
Yeah, and Snape, both of them.
No, you're just Sirius Black and Malfoy.
Oh, I love that man.
Which means you're going to get a divorce and she's marrying Tom Felton. Which means you get Bonnie Wright. No.
No.
Okay, fine. Emma Watson.
No. I wouldn't mind being friends with her, though.
I'll take the girl that plays Luna Lovegood.
Ivana Lynch.
Yeah.
You can have her.
I'll go. Oh, there we go. Found one.
She's fine with that. Well, I mean, she could have said you got Moaning Myrtle. So
That's a little
now,
too far.
Mona Myrtle's, she's I think in her 40s, ain't she?
Yeah, she's like 40s.
I think she's in her 40s or 50s.
yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't say that, but
But there you go, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. Let us know what you want us to talk about down below. If you like the new setup, and we will talk to you guys. Wait. Where can we find you on YouTube?
it's Scottie and Ashley Johnson.
And you can find me right here, and we'll see all of you guys next time.